Hi guys, I've already done a spoiler-free review of Deadpool and Wolverine on my Instagram page. So if you're looking for a spoiler-free review, you can go check out my Instagram at redladon. But I just wanted to give my full thoughts with spoilers in here. So if you're not ready for any spoilers, please click off because I will be talking about spoilers in my full review here. So, first off, when I'm talking about the first act, I'm especially talking about when Wolverine is visiting X-Men, Wolverine's grave, Logan's grave, and he talks about how he's not gonna study, Logan's name because Logan was a really good ending, and he both does that and doesn't do that. Similarly, at the same time, it was just a kind of a tongue-in-cheek joke in the end. But I think that this sequence in the first beginning wasn't really bad per se, but it does set the tone for the rest of the movie because, as I said in my spoiler-free review, they do rely on the slow motion a lot, and I don't know if they want if they want to do accentuate certain parts of the action sequences. I'm pretty sure they did, but it just kind of took away from the pacing of the movie, and I think that's what people are mentioning about when they talk about pacing. Um, and don't get me wrong, I like slow motion, but I like slow motion done right. I think that it was so like overdone to the point I'm like, okay, I'm sick of this now. Like, can we do something else? So yeah, definitely does drag down the movie. As I mentioned before, we meet a new character in the Void. Um, and by the way, when I talk about like when there was a scene of Deadpool, seeing a character mentioning about an Avenger crying over him per se, and I know exactly what scene is that from. I'm talking about Thor, obviously crying over Loki from was it Infinity War or Endgame? I think it was Infinity War. When Loki died, and it's them, just replacing Loki with Deadpool, which is fine. And people are like, why is he crying of that? But it makes sense if you know the Marvel storyline and all that. For me personally, I'm not gonna watch the whole Loki series, so I don't really care who is this even alive person, or what type of entity Alith is just really insignificant for the story. Obviously, their main focus was supposed to be Cassandra Nova, but she was kind of shanked to the side for the TVA guy. But they did have a few sequences with her as well. And as I said, with the CGI with Cassandra Nova is top notch, A plus. I watched it again uncensored this time, and I thought that the whole you know hand through the face thing was is really so fucking cool. I'm like, how did it do that? Like, that's so fucking cool to watch. I'm so impressed. And somebody asked me about the car. In my opinion, I think that there are some sections where the score is not done enough, and there's some section that's overdone. Per se, I think the third act was a bit overdone, but the second act kind of didn't have any score per se. But I think in this type of like balancing of the whole R rating, I think that is kind of to be expected. So I didn't really find any issues with that. I guess my main issue is all about the pacing in this movie because you do really feel the time dragging on, especially because of the slow motions that they did for the movie. You're not gonna really feel for the relationship of Deadpool and Wolverine, even though you're supposed to. Like, you're supposed to try to root for them to kind of overcome and like be at least manageable friends, or at least like good acquaintances. But obviously, they're not in the same mindset. I don't know. It's supposed to be that kind of irritating buddy cop movie you kind of watch on daily. But I just found that maybe through the third act they could have found like a small semblance of common ground, and I guess they did try to do that with the whole like them sacrificing with them each other with themselves. So that was kind of what's supposed to happen, but I didn't really buy it, obviously because of what had happened throughout the film. And when I'm talking about the third act, especially when the second to last act of the movie, where you see a lot of cameos, I'm talking about obviously Gambit, Elektra, Blade. I was most surprised at the Blade cameo. I thought that was really cool to see Blade come back. Elektra, I kind of knew she was gonna come back, even though I don't remember who said like Elektra was supposed to go. I think they kind of spoiled that on themselves. I don't know. I don't really remember, but I do remember her saying something like, "Oh, did like Ryan Reynolds did mention like, oh, do you have your old costume or whatever?" And I'm like, I think she's gonna come back for Deadpool and Wolverine. But um, regardless of that, I think that Channing Tatum did an okay Gambit. I don't know. I don't really know the character enough, but my friend said like he's supposed to be thinner, and Channing Tatum looks a bit bulky. I'm like I don't really mind it. I mean, it's a character that I don't really know, so I'm not really invested in. Obviously, it's cool to see Wolverine in his original costume. The whole yellow suit is really interesting to see. Um, what else? Sorry, guys, I'm getting over a cough here. Overall, I think that this movie is still. I guess I would bump it down to a 6, especially because I've had so much gripe with the whole slow motion thing, and I think that it could have been so much done better. It could have done so much better with the CG and the whole action sequences. It could have been choreographed a little bit better, but I think that for what it's worth, for the time that they had, I think it's fine. So it's again a popcorn movie that I wouldn't really recommend to a lot of people. But if you're interested in seeing how it all wraps up, you definitely can go watch Deadpool and Wolverine. I mean, I'm just a little bit sad that I didn't get the ending I really wanted with Deadpool. I think I really wanted to see him kind of come into terms that he is the anti-hero. He is what he is, and certain parts of it they kind of hinted at that, but I don't know. It just didn't hit me as hard. Obviously, seeing the other alternate versions of Deadpool was really interesting. Sorry, Deadpool and also Wolverine. Um, Lady Deadpool, by the way, that really was something to behold, man. I was like, oh, like on the second watch, I'm like, wow, she is really sexy. I don't know who the actress is. I'm gonna look her up later. Maybe I think it's Blake Lively. I'm not sure, but I definitely did enjoy myself. I mean, the second watch not so much, but I mean, the first watch I definitely did enjoy myself, even though the censorship was really bad. I don't know why they censored Blade's um, catchphrase. I don't know why they censored certain parts of the movie. I think they censored motherfucking in the Malaysian cinemas. But if you don't mind censorship, then by all means go and watch it. But I don't recommend to watch in Malaysian cinemas because I've been on about this for years. I don't think it's worth the money. But if you think you still want to support the movie, go ahead. I just recommend pirating the movie. Honestly, like it's not worth $18 to watch the censored movies. Um, but that's my opinion. Anyway, yeah, this is a really short review because I don't really have much to talk about the movie because I'm just a casual comic book person and I just love films and I thought the grading of the movie, the color schemes, I think it was pretty okay. The Mad Max part was kind of meh to me. Oh, the Johnny flip, I think a lot of people were surprised, but once I kind of saw like Deadpool making a joke about Avengers Assemble, I kind of knew they were gonna flip it to Johnny Storm because do remember Chris Evans as Fantastic Four, Johnny Storm. Yes, that's my era of Fantastic Four, and I do appreciate the fact that on second watch I did remember seeing the Fantastic Four, like the whole flying machine that it had on Silver Surfer. So that was an interesting kind of callback to Fantastic Four. And honestly, the whole collage of them saying goodbye to the fan, like the whole century, 20th Century Fox franchise was kind of a nice thing to include, especially because we never really got to say goodbye to this 20th Century Fox X-Men properly. But it was nice to see them do that for this particular movie as well. Um, Nice Pool was kind of meh to me, but I guess that's the point of Nice Pool. But I don't really. I mean, I find Ryan Reynolds' comedic timing to be on and off, so I'm not really a big fan. But I get it. I get why people like him. I think why the first movie hit home to me, especially because we've never really seen that. But once it played out in Deadpool 2, I think I just wanted a little bit more meat to the whole thing, and then I didn't really like the whole cable thing. The Juggernaut thing, I was like, whoa, that was really well done, Juggernaut. Um, yeah, nothing much to say, but I'm actually really more psyched about Joker, but I don't know if I don't know if I can even stand Joker in Malaysian cinemas, but I do want to go support the movie, so it's it is a whole dilemma for me. But anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching my spoiler movie review. I do think on the second watch it does kind of bring it down to a 6, but I think on a fair note, maybe I'll bump it up a little bit to 6.5. But it's still not too bad. It's a definite summer popcorn movie if you got nothing to do and nothing else to watch, and you're still hyped about Deadpool. Then yeah, this is a good movie to say goodbye to Deadpool, or maybe not really say goodbye to Deadpool, but kind of just know that they're not really gonna bring back Deadpool, because I don't think they have the budget to kind of keep that R rating going. You know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely think that they did a lot of budgeting to Deadpool. So yeah, that's about it, guys. I will catch you guys on the next movie I am interested in, which is Joker, which is in October. I may do a gameplay of Wukong soon. Wukong is gonna come out in August. I'm hoping to get the physical copy. Um, but until then, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for still being with me. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.